But anyway, getting back to the story of these knife blocks, I was going to elaborate on them later on, but I'll tell you the story now. They're close to my heart. When, many years ago, when we had chariots, I was in the army, and I did various things, but when I got out, I was a qualified mechanic. And I got a job in Civvy Street as a mechanic, working for a dealership and then another garage. And when I was working for this garage, it was a smaller concern, but I enjoyed the work. I got the sack on Christmas Eve. The boss came up and says, "Oh, you're the last on, so you're the first off. I've got to let you go." Great. I've got 3 young kids, mortgage and everything else, wife at home, and I get the sack on Christmas Eve, which I thought, well, that's really nice. And then he said, "When do you want to finish up?" I said, "How about the 3rd of January? And he said, "Oh, I think you're using me." I thought, he's getting used here. Anyway, I did what any guy did at those times. That's way back in the 80s. I couldn't afford a holiday because I had no money. I didn't have a job. So I went to my mum and dad's, took the kids down there for a holiday. And I was driving through a northern New South Wales town in New South Wales, obviously, because it was northern New South Wales. And I saw one of these knife blocks and I thought, whoa, how are they made? And it took me a while to figure it out. But like I said before, I had a TR12 router, a big noisy green thing it was. And I decided to make one. And then, because I'd made it, I thought, well, it's no good. I've got to go and do something with it. I'll go and see if I can sell it. So I went around to, actually I hit the department stores first. I went to a store in Australia called David Jones, and the girls in the kitchen department there were really helpful. And they told me that they couldn't get a knife block that fitted these particular brand of knives. So I thought, there's a market for me. I forget how old I was, might have been all of 28 or something or other. And so I came home, designed it, which is basically the same design I still do today, and took it back, and they were thrilled. They said, "That's it." Anyway, they said, "No, we have a buyer." Well, that was all new to me. I didn't understand retail, so I never got as far as a buyer. But downstairs, there was a kitchen shop, and I went into the kitchen shop and showed the fellow. Keith Murray was his name, Jan Murray's kitchen shop. And he said yes, and he gave me an order for about 10, which blew my mind. So I came home and I made those. And then, green as grass, I didn't understand anything about manufacturing or retailing or anything. So I took them back, and then this would have been about October, I suppose, and he gave me an order for over $1,000, and back in the 80s, $1,000 was worth something. You know, I was selling these, I think, wholesale for, I can't remember, I think they were $15, but they cost me $1. They cost me $1.60 to make. So I thought I was doing all right. Anyway, he gave me an order for over $1,000 worth. And, oh, great. When do you want them? He said, "Oh, I want them by Christmas." Yeah, that's how green I was, because obviously he meant he wanted them for Christmas sales, but I thought he wanted them before Christmas, so yeah, he got them Christmas Eve. But he was a good scout. He didn't say anything. He just sort of smiled, sold them, and it's a relationship that lasted for quite some time, and gradually I moved away and got into furniture. But that's the pedigree behind these knife blocks. So we're going to make one, as well as doing other stuff. But to make the pinstripe, what you've got to do is find some old scraps of veneer, these old bits of jarrah that I've got, and they're not big enough for any other job. So I'm going to veneer one side. First of all, I'll just have a look at the tops and see what sort of a pattern we've got there. Then I'll arrange those first. Put that up. Let's have a look. Have them going all the same way if we can. It looks nicer. It looks really great if you can get it out of one stick of timber. Then it looks really nice, because the grain will follow all the way through. But I reckon that's going to look reasonably all right. Okay. And then on the bottom, I mean, you don't have to do it this way. It's the way I do it, because I I got a shock of memory. I'll just mark this as the top. So it's 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B. The top one, you don't do anything with. But these ones, you now veneer on the face. So put a V on each one. Because if not, you might veneer the wrong side. This is really, really rustic veneering too, by the way. There's no finesse whatsoever involved with this. I'm not picking which side is down and which side's up, and I'm not really too particular about it. Look, if there's splits in the veneer, it doesn't matter because you're going to hide most of it. You just got to make sure that you do get a nice edge on here, so it comes over the edge there. Oh no, there we go. There we go, go. And this stuff you can just snaps pretty easy. Actually, a jarrah is nice. I quite like making furniture out of jarrah. It's a Western Australia wood. As you would know, Ray, they used to build all the old wool sheds out of it. And for a long time there was so much furniture coming out saying, oh, you know, it was made from the wool sheds. And then I think if you actually did a calculation, there weren't that many wool sheds. Okay, that goes there and this one goes here. All right, and we got a bit spare. Bob can chew on that later. Now, if you get splits like that, you can, if you want, stick tape them on the back, but okay, I'll do that one just for fun. Can't find it now. There we go. But make sure, if you do sticky tape it, that is pointing up and you glue the other side. Or else you're going to have the same situation you had with the marquetry. It won't stick. Now with this, I'm using PVA. It really doesn't matter. Oh, it's just going to be in the kitchen. So I couldn't be bothered with hide glue. I'll use my fingers. Put this over here. And just spread it pretty liberally. Or you can use a card spreader if you want, but I don't think it really matters, but just larrup it on. I like double gluing. And then just place it on top. Tighten my hands up a bit. That's one. Grab another one. Same. So I just put a layer of this stuff between each bit that I've glued up. Then grab a couple of cords, pop them in there, and I shall put these in this vise here. Whoop. Okay, where are we up to? I've got 2 more of these to do. And then we can continue. Whoops. See, I marked the on that side, so I'd put the veneer there, and I started gluing up that side. So even when I mark things, I get it wrong. Let's try again. Here we go. Okay. Another couple of calls. Oh, these are great. Just get bits of Laminex offcuts or MDF with some sort of material on it, and then put paper on them, and again the baking paper on top of that, and they just act as great cords. I'll put this in here. And we'll tighten this one up. All right. There, you leave those in the clamps for a day, something like that, or whatever the glue is. I would generally do this the last thing at night, and then the first thing in the morning I'd be able to take them out. Now, it just so happens that's what I did last night. And so these are the same as those, and I'll unwrap these.